that's when Hillary said that, the language was, inappropriate. You cannot speak that way. Not
Yeah.
like, are you okay? Is there something? I mean, even if she did want to have that conversation, this isn't the
Not the
time to have
time.
it. This
Not
is
the
not the
time.
time to have it. Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
We are talking about members only Palm Beach. So we recapped the first 2 episodes, and then we listened to a podcast with Heather McDonald and Hillary Musser. And then after that podcast, Rosalyn Yellin was on the Vile Files, and we listened to that podcast. So before we recap episodes 2 and 3, we want to catch you up on what we found out. Kelly, you want to start with what we learned from Heather McDonald?
So Hillary, I don't have notes on it, but so Hillary
Yeah.
was basically saying that she didn't marry her husband, Pete Musser, for money. He sought her out. She was married. They met somehow through her work, I believe, but I don't think he was her boss or anything like that. And she had a liver tumor and almost died. And her then husband was not very supportive. So I think she actually said her parents asked her to leave him, which she did. And then I guess started spending time with this Pete Musser, who apparently lost all of his money in the .com crash and was like 40 million in debt. So when she married him, he did not have the money he once had. So she basically says, it's not like I married him for his money. I'm not a gold digger. So, okay, that's, factual. Then they got married, they had their son, and built their fortune back up because they then lived in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and were part of Philadelphia society. Also spent time in Nantucket. So they clearly were living a lavish lifestyle, raising their son. We don't know. We didn't check to see if he has children from other marriages, but it doesn't really matter. And basically, they stayed married for 16 or 18 years.
Yeah, they were married for quite a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. And, she said he was a ladies' man. She never thought he'd step out on her because of the age difference. She was significantly younger than him. But he did, I guess. And she divorced him. And then that's when she moved to Palm Beach, bought a house across the street from Mar-a-Lago, and they were handing out memberships if you bought a house. And that's how she became a member. Then she started her real estate venture and clearly became very successful with it.
Yes. So we wanted to clarify that, she said in the very beginning that she was self-made. And my first reaction was, how can you call yourself self-made when you were married to a billionaire? But we find out from her that he wasn't a billionaire when she married him. So that we want to correct. But also in that interview, she started talking about, Rosalyn Yellin and saying that, she portrays herself as this mother of 5 children, but 2 of those children are not by Jonathan. She was married before. And what that has to do with anything is really beyond me, because it has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with anything.
Here's the thing. She and Heather McDonald run in the same circles. I don't think they're
Yes.
necessarily friends, but they run in the same circles. Heather was not asking her any hard questions. Heather was not holding her accountable for saying disparaging things against Rosalyn. And I thought that was terrible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so this is what I was going to say. So what she did to Rosalyn on the show, remember you said to Lori and I on New Year's Eve, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. Hillary is very good friends with Jill Zarin. And if people
Yes.
remember correctly, Jill Zarin saw Bethany taking some spotlight on Real Housewives of New York. And what did she do? She turned on her and she tried to get everybody else to ice her out and told everybody, don't film with her.
Right.
And how did that end for Jill? She got fired and Bethany got a spinoff. So
Yes.
Hillary should be more cautious in how she treats her co-cast members.
Yeah,
I
she
don't think
definitely
Hillary
should.
she came off terrible in the show, and I think she came off even worse on Heather McDonald.
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
She was
Like,
yeah, she was
no
horrible.
class, no class at all.
Yeah, she was horrible. The way she was, again, maligning someone, and to bring up children, first of all, is
Yep,
crazy.
yep.
Crazy. Crazy. So, then Rosalind and I give her a lot of credit. I really give her a lot of credit.
Real quick, something else Hillary said on Heather McDonald. She
Okay.
said that Rosalind was not committed to do the show until the very end, right before they
Yes.
started filming. She said that Rosalind was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it." So that's why the opening scene, the party at Hillary's house, Rosalind had just decided maybe that day, the day before, that she would film. In the meantime, supposedly, Rosalind had said, negative things about very good friends of Hillary's that were gonna be at the party. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but it is what it is, but she did say that Rosalind was hesitant to film the show and wasn't signed on until the very, very
She
end.
did say yeah, she did say that. She did say that. So, Rosalind obviously hears this interview and feels a way about it, which I don't blame her, and she goes on, the Vile Files and tells her side of the story with Nick, and listen, this was a very emotional interview. She starts out with, these are her stories to tell. They are her stories to tell. Hillary had no business mentioning this at all. She didn't. It wasn't her information to give. So she has been with Jonathan, her husband, for 31 years. All 5 children were raised by him. She, which I found was very interesting herself, was born and raised in Margate, New Jersey. So I was like,
Beach
"Ah,
town right off of Atlantic City. Yep.
yep." Her mom was an immigrant, and she was 5 when she came to this country. She married her dad. He was the son of immigrants from Italy, and her mom is from Germany. Her father was, and these are her words, very, very abusive. She suffered abuse from the time she was a baby, 6 months old.
6 months old.
He pulled her arm out of the socket. She had multiple broken bones, was whipped with a belt. Now, this woman, Rosalind, this is horrible that she needs to go on a podcast and tell this story. This is horrible. This is
Yeah,
horrible.
because she doesn't I'm sure her husband was aware, but it's not like other people were. So now
Right,
she is in Palm Beach society. It doesn't even matter. Whatever group of friends you're in, or this is how they're going
right.
to find out. You have to now go on a podcast to defend yourself because of what the real estate agent next door said about you.
Yes, yes. So she goes on to say that there was a lot of physical and mental abuse that she wasn't ready to talk about. And I can imagine she wouldn't be. And I don't know how you'd ever be ready to talk about it on this platform. I
No,
mean,
in public. I mean, why?
right.
Why would you have to?
So there was a time where her father took a butcher knife and he had it in the kitchen, and her mom was in the kitchen screaming and crying like he was going to hurt her. So she called the police. They came, they took him away. Her mother was afraid for her life. So she sent her to Israel. They didn't have any family in Israel. They didn't have any friends in Israel. She was 15 years old. She was in a boarding school in Israel, all alone, did not speak the language. Did not speak the language. This was in the 80s. There were no cell phones. There was no computers. There was
Nope. Pen and paper, write a letter, and wait a week to get it. If you're lucky,
Yep.
overseas.
So she met a guy in boarding school. We don't know the whole story there. Again, it's really none of our business. Her mother flew over and she was very young. She was 17. She was still in high school. Her mother signed a consent that she was to be married in a religious ceremony to this boy she met at boarding school. She felt abandoned by her mother. She couldn't take
I'm
care of
sure her mother felt like, listen, you can't come back here. And
right,
once you graduate from school, there's nowhere for you to go there.
right.
Right?
Yeah, listen, I think her mother did, and I'm sure she feels this too now, but at the time, she was 17 years old, right? And she was sent away when she was 15, so she's already been in a foreign country for 2 years not speaking the language all alone. So, she felt this way. So she wound up having 2 children. with this man. And at the age of 20, she just said, "You know what? I can't do this. I can't live this life. This isn't what I want." She had seen, I guess, on TV or movies, you know, people would be making out and like this romance story. She wanted the fairy tale. She wanted the
She
romance.
wanted romance, she wanted affection, intimacy.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And who doesn't want that, right? That's the
Right,
dream that we all want.
right.
So she said, "That's it. I'm leaving this man. I'm taking my children and I'm leaving at 20 years old." She gets on a plane, she flies
And that
home.
is not easy to do. I told Wendy I know somebody, I have a friend whose daughter, different situation, but was American and married someone from Israel, had a child over there with him, and decided that she wanted to come home with her child, and it took a very, very long time for her to accomplish that. She did, but it took a very long time. So I can't imagine how much more difficult it was then when Rosalind had to do this.
Right. I can't either. I can't either. She said she had one seat on the plane and 2 children. So the 3 of them, yeah. It's like her mother did finally meet a wonderful man, and she got married and lived in Philadelphia, and she passed away in 2004 from ovarian cancer. So she did reunite with her mother, but when she got back to the United States, she was a single mom with 2 small children, 20 years old, and a high school diploma at this point. She
Yeah,
was, living in a studio or a one-bedroom apartment, and she was just working hard to,
doing what she
to
had to
do the
do,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was fixed up on a blind date with her husband, Jonathan. This is what I find amazing. Like, this whole story is like
Yeah.
this needs to be a lifetime. This needs to be a lifetime story, to be quite honest with
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
She needs to
you're
write a
right,
book. She needs to write a book because this has a happy ending. This has a
right.
happy ending. She was fixed up on a blind date with her husband, Jonathan. It was their first date. She said they had this instant connection. He was the guy that she'd always dreamed of. Like, she's just immediately fell in love, and she's been with him ever since. They wound up getting married. They have 3 other children. The father of her 2 older daughters gave up his parental rights. Jonathan adopted them. And when she came over, her daughters were 11 months old and 2 years old. That's young.
Little, little.
Yes, yes. Nobody but close friends and family know this story. Nobody. Like, her daughters didn't want people to know that she was adopted, didn't want them to know that they had different fathers. So nobody ever knew. It was their story. No one needed to know.
Right.
Jonathan was the
Have
only
to
father.
Yeah, I mean, listen, in today's world, we're just surrounded by families made up of different situations, right? So we all know people who have children with other people, siblings who have different last names. Like, it's
Right.
nothing today. It's nothing. But then it was. Then it was something. So these young girls wanted to have the same last name as their siblings.
And
So you
no,
have to
right.
imagine that if you hear something like this about someone, it had to be a story that somebody might not want to share. It's not like today where it's like, I was with him, I'm not with him, I'm with him now. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that back then. So you have to know that there was some kind of story, and maybe it wasn't something that she wanted to talk about. So
Right.
for Hillary to out that and put a negative light on it, it's really crappy that she did that.
I agree. I totally agree. She said her husband wanted to talk about this in the past. He did want to talk about it, but she was never ready. She's like, now I have to go on this podcast and tell my story. She's like, I live the life I live because I want to help people. She helps women and children who've been trafficked. Like, every charity that she's involved in is deeply personal to her. That's why she does this, which makes
Yeah,
perfect sense. It makes
for
perfect
sure.
sense.
Yeah,
So for Hillary to talk about her story and turn it into something negative when Rosalind did everything she could to turn that horrible trauma into this great fairy tale, which she did it,
right,
you know?
right.
Nick said to Rosalind, like, have you confronted Hillary about what she said? to you? And she's like, well, no, I just heard of this 2 days ago. She said, when I saw her at the premiere party, because they had the premiere party, Hillary went up to me and she said, like, I want to just put this, I want to bury the hatchet. I just want to put this behind us. Like, I just, I don't want this to be a Hillary Rosalyn feud. Now, this was before they'd even seen the show. Rosalyn had no idea that that there was a Hillary Rosalyn feud. She didn't know that this thing even existed. She didn't know that Hillary was sitting, she called it the chair, in like the confessional, saying all this stuff about Rosalyn, because I'll be honest with you, Rosalyn wasn't saying anything about Hillary.
She really wasn't.
She was
I mean,
really
she
talking
said
about
things like that because she wasn't invited, saying that, Hillary's alleging that she said negative things about, she was,
right,
but that was what was going on the show.
right, right,
Fair game.
right. What she mostly talked about was her love affair with Gail Brophy, and she also, mentioned that. She's like, I had no idea that it came off like that. Like, we know this. They filmed many, many hours. They filmed for 3 months, and we got, 6 hours worth of
Yeah.
stuff, which,
Yeah.
so of course they played it up. And she's like, now I'm aware of it. Obviously, it won't be so extreme, but she really does look up to Gail. She really does look up to Gail.
Yeah. And you can't take it away from Gail. I mean, she irritated me a lot on the show, but she was an accomplished woman and she obviously did live a very interesting life. And I guess still
Right.
is,
Right. Right.
What is that where Hillary said about her apartment and she would was it on the podcast? And she said said she kept asking Gail where she lived and Gail would never tell her. Gail would never
N-
tell her where she lived.
No, I think she made it a comment on the end of the show, her living, I think it was on the final episode, about her living in an apartment. And, that was another thing that Rosalind said. She's like, and then after, at the finale, which we didn't get to yet, but when Hillary thought she was off camera and that she wasn't mic'd, she said, what did she make some like threat, like, this is not going to happen. They're not going to come after me. Or she made some kind of,
Yeah, I forget. Rosalind said it and I forget.
I forget what it was too, but it was
'Cause it was
something
like a hot
like,
mic moment, right?
yeah, it's exactly what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I don't
She
know.
said it to somebody else as she walked away.
She
I
said it.
can
Yeah.
picture it. I just can't remember what she said. Yeah.
So Hillary said, Rosalind said Hillary and I, and she's always maintained this. We're in different worlds. I'm in the charity world. She's in the real estate world. She didn't know that there was a competition. And Rosalind also made it very clear that she's not a guest of anyone's. She owns memberships to the places that are members only. She doesn't
And
go
she
as a
paid for
guest.
them. She wasn't
And
handed it
right.
because of the house she bought, because they were trying to get members and they were trying to basically, they needed the
Smooth it over.
neighbors. Yeah,
Yes,
because whatever they were doing, they probably had to get variances. They had to get the neighbors to comply. So what
absolutely.
better way than to hand them a membership?
Absolutely. She said that Rosalind never worked in her life and she lacks substance. She said, I raised 5 children under the age of 7 and I worked. And yes, you did, Rosalind. Yes, you did.
And what she said, the way she grew up was so volatile
Right.
that she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. She wanted to be home and raise her children and create a peaceful life for them. There's nothing wrong with that. And it is work. Listen, I couldn't hack
It's
it. I
work.
stayed home for a year and I was like, I need to get a job.
Oh, it's work.
I
It's
can't.
the hardest job in the world. It's the hardest job in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nick says, do you think Hillary has any idea about the real story? And Rosalind said, there's no way she could know. There's no way.
Yeah,
And
so
then
she should have kept her mouth shut.
exactly. Nick said, well, if Hillary were to call you tomorrow after she heard this interview and apologize to you that she overstepped, and, would you accept her apology? And Rosalind said, yes, I would. I believe that she would. I mean,
I believe she would too. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. Rosalind said, I don't think that's what she's going to do. I think she's going to say something negative about me. And listen,
She's going to double down, Hillary. She's going to double down.
she's going to double down. Even what she said about Gail, like, and she does say that Gail wasn't a cast member. I mean, because Hillary kept saying that. She wasn't a cast member. She wasn't a cast member. But she was friends with Rosalind and she was relevant enough to be there and to be
Right.
to these places, right?
Right. And Rosalind does say that she is still she's in contact with Romina and Maria, and she really enjoys spending time with them. So
She
that's good
does
to
it.
hear.
Oh my gosh, I just saw a TikTok yesterday. Did you happen to see it?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
when the big lips, the 3 of them? My god, it is the funniest thing. It's so
They're cute.
funny.
It's cute.
Yeah. And, she also clarified her trying to help Romina. She's not doing that anymore. They're just gonna be friends. And when was talking about Romina and the way she was acting at the club, it's when she was a guest of hers.
Mhm.
It's when she was there as Rosalind's guest, and it goes back to, "Tell me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are." Because if you're here in the club with me as my guest, then you need to act a certain way, right? If you wanna do your own thing, you do your own thing. So, I have a whole newfound look on this. So now I'm gonna see what's gonna happen when we start recapping episode 3 and
I
4.
know, because we already had our notes with the way we
Yep,
felt
I know.
before. But I mean, listen, I think that we're kind of on this page anyway, Hillary.
Yes. Oh, yes, we definitely were with Hillary. So let's see. Episode number 3 is called How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria? Maria and Romina go to Hillary's house, and I don't know if you remember this, but as they're walking in, because they pull up in the Jeep, Romina's boob falls out of her dress. They're having a they're having the pool party there.
Yes.
And Rosalind shows up and Hillary tells her how nice she looks. I was like, why does Hillary have to tell Rosalind how nice she looks? But okay, she did. And she
Right.
did look nice.
Right.
I also thought this is where Maria showed up with her blow up unicorn and she's trying to blow it up in the backyard of Hillary's house. I was like,
Which, I
this.
mean, Hillary had the connection right there for the air.
Right.
By the
Right.
way, I looked up Maria was in IT and
She
made
was.
a good amount of money and retired, and she's married to a very, very successful chiropractor. They both DJ, but he is a chiropractor, but is also invested in some company, and I looked it up, I forget the name of it. But they're very wealthy, and Maria did make her money in IT.
Good for her. Good for her.
Yes,
Listen, Maria's a
absolutely.
fun girl. She knows how to have fun.
Yep,
She knows how to have fun. And
yep.
honestly, like I had said before, Hillary doesn't smile. Like, I don't think Hillary really knows how to have fun,
No, not
right?
that she's letting people say at least.
Right. Right.
So to me, like, that's phony, right?
Yeah.
Like, because 'cause you're one way with a certain group and you're a different way with another group.
Yeah.
That's
I
phony
don't I
baloney.
don't know. It's funny because I just don't think she has it in her. I just think she's a little bit too uptight to even I don't know. I
Well,
could
that
be
could
wrong.
be. Yeah.
I mean, they were all together, and when I say they all, Rachel Yucatel got married on New Year's Eve in Palm Beach, and Hillary was there, Jill Zarin was there, Heather McDonald was there. It was like the place to be, and they're all very similar people, from what
Mhm.
from what we know of them. They're
Right.
all very similar people, and it is what it is. I did think this was a fun party to watch because Maria was there, and she was the first one to
No, I
even jump in
agree.
the pool. She was the first one to jump
Yes.
in the pool. Rosalind invites the ladies to the yacht party, and that is for a fundraiser for the Gray Team, and that's for veterans. And she starts talking about how it's, like their mental health struggle. And all of a sudden, Maria gets up from the table and she walks away. And everyone is like, what's going on? And Hillary, because it's her house, the way she reacted to this, she was emotional because Maria, she's very emotional. She explains that she has had mental health in her family issues her entire life. Like, she
Especially
doesn't
her
have a good
mother.
relationship. Right, right. And, she even said when she was telling them, her mom was such a horrible person to her. And her dad was really the one that was there for her. And now her dad is gone and her mom is still alive. And how can such a horrible person still be here when the one person that was good is gone? Right.
Yeah,
So, like, hearing this, that you could tell that this is some woman who has been traumatized. Like, she says this,
yeah.
and all the other ladies are around her supporting her, like, no, no big deal. And Hillary kind of scolds her. I mean, she does scold her.
She did scold her
Because
because
she's cursing. When she's telling them the story, she's cursing. She's saying the F word this, F word that. Now again, it's coming out because of the emotion that's happening, and she's
And some
in
people just talk like that.
right, right, and they're in a house, they're not in a club, they're in someone's home, they're not in a
Right, they're not
club.
at the club, right, right, right.
Right,
Not the club, the club.
right, right, but all the ladies are, surrounding her and really showering her with love, but that's when Hillary said that, the language was, inappropriate, you cannot speak that way. Not like, "Are you okay? Is there something?" I mean, even if she did wanna have that conversation, this isn't the
Not the
time to have
time,
it. This is
not the
not the
time.
time to have it. It's just
Nope,
not. It's
totally agree.
not. And then she even turns it around more that, like, "How dare you even get up from the table because you wanted the attention on you?" No, she didn't
That
want the
was
attention.
wild.
Right. No, she didn't want the attention. She was trying to remove herself because she saw how emotional she was getting.
Right, she
And
knew she
Hil
was gonna start crying.
right. It just kind of listen, it blew me away, to be honest with you. It just made me even like Hillary less that she could be so cold
Yep,
when
absolutely.
Maria is being so vulnerable. And again, it's not like it was planned. It just when they started talking about it, it just came over her. And that's how trauma works, by the way.
Yep, yep.
That's how trauma works. Like it can come out of nowhere. It can come out of nowhere. And then in her confessional, Hillary sits there and she said, the amount of swear words coming out of Maria, I'm not inclined to use those kind of words to describe her. It's just that she lacks class.
It's like the pot calling the kettle black, man.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, the way that Maria handled it in that situation, I would say that's about the classiest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah,
She said, she
absolutely.
said, she said, I appreciate your feedback because, I never want to feel like I'm not being respectful in your home. I
Yep,
was like, I
yeah,
mean,
because that coulda went real left real quick.
we've said this, she's a Philly girl.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
That's what I mean, she
Like
just talks like that.
yeah, I know,
Like,
and
that's just who
again,
she is.
I like Maria. I liked her
Me
from the
too.
jump. I like her
Yep.
even more now, like, the more I watch her, the more I like her. When I watched that TikTok the other day with Rosalyn, Romina, and
Maria?
Maria, the 3 of them, like, those
Yeah.
are the 3 I like. Those are the 3 I
Yeah.
like, you know? Um,
I
the
like
next
Taja
scene
too, I don't like how close she is with Hillary, but
and honestly, I feel like I don't know enough about Taja yet. I really don't. I feel like I know the least about her from all of them. So I'm
well,
still
I know
willing to
who
give
she's
her a
friends
chance.
with, and that turned things for me.
I know. I know. I know. So the next thing we see is we're at Rosalind's waterfront mansion, and she's there making banana bread with her daughter. Her daughter's there, her son-in-law, and her grandchildren. And Rosalind's talking about how her grandmother just passed just shortly before they started filming, which is probably the reason why she wasn't sure if she was going to film because her grandmother was 103
And she was
and
very close to her.
she was very close to her. And now we know why she was very close to her because of what happened. We find out that her mom died when she was 33 years old, which is the same age that her daughter is that's there now baking the banana bread with her. And she wants to show her how to make the banana bread because it's something that she always did. And her daughter loves the banana bread. And she always calls her mom for the recipe when she has to make it because she never, and she's like, Where did you get the recipe? Like, she's like, No, I just know it. Like, it's just in my head. It's just something I do. And
Yeah.
honestly, I thought it was a nice scene. I thought, like this is real. She talks about how her mom wound up being on life support and she's the one who had to make the decision.
Yeah.
Again,
Horrible.
at 33 years old. That's tough.
That's really tough. That's really, really tough.
Right. So again, this is just another layer to who Rosalind really is, right?
Right. Yes.
Then it's the day of the yacht party, again, Gail walks in and her and Rosalind are making their heart hands to each other. It's so funny.
It was just so
And
over the top.
it really was. It really
Yeah.
was. Rosalind says she had to sit down with Maria and she said that Romina said to her a few days ago that she felt like Rosalind was trying to change Romina. Maria was explaining that, Romina felt like Rosalind was trying to
Didn't
change
think
her.
she was good enough. Yeah.
Right, right. I understand where Romina would feel that way because of also probably the trauma that she grew up with too. Like these women, like it wasn't easy for them. Like
No,
it's not like everything was handed to them, right?
no, they didn't grow up like us.
Right. Right. So, of course, Rosalind is going to be insulted because in her mind, she's just helping her. And I do think that that was I mean, I think her intentions were pure. She was trying to help Romina. And because Romina specifically asked her for help
Yes,
because
yes.
because she knew her from Bucks County. Has a sit down with Maria. She's trying to say to her that Romina said to her a few days ago, Maria said that Rosalind said she will never make it in Palm Beach. Rosalind said, first of all, I never said that about Romina. Maria said, I know my truth and I stand in it. Rosalind said, I stand in mine. I would never say that. Maria said, okay, so you're not done. And Rosalind said, no, I'm not done. Maria said, well, I didn't cut you off. I didn't agree with everything you said, but I let you speak. So Rosalind said, okay, go ahead. Maria said, I stand in my truth. You absolutely did say those things. And I told Romina that you said, your reality is different than mine. I will accept that, but I'm not going to be made a liar. No, they did go back and forth on that. So I don't know, though. Listen, Maria saying that Rosalind said Romina will never make it in Palm Beach. I don't know that we ever saw that on camera.
No, we never saw it on camera. We never saw it on camera.
And Rosalind is saying, "No, I didn't say that." And Maria's saying, "Well, I'm standing in my truth that that's what I heard." I mean, I could honestly see Hillary saying that.
I could definitely see Hillary saying it. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could see
Yeah.
Rosalind saying it, but I don't think Maria's a liar. And
Right. I
just
don't
the
think
way
Maria's a liar
she
either.
handled herself in that conversation where she said, "I stand in my truth."
Right. No, I don't think Maria's a liar. I don't. I don't. So that they kind of like they just agree to move forward at that point, those two. Taja starts feeling dizzy and she starts talking to Hillary about Gail and how she's from New York. And this is so funny because then Gail comes over and Gail's like, oh, I live at 1040 Fifth Avenue. I used to live at 1040 Fifth Avenue. And Hillary's like, I don't know that. Oh, well, if you know New York, I mean, 1040 Fifth Avenue. I mean, you'd think she was saying like 1200 Pennsylvania Avenue. Like, what the
Right,
hell is 1040 Fifth Avenue? Like, who knows what
right.
that is? Like, seriously, like,
I guess she
it's
just
not
thought that the Fifth Avenue would, you know,
I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't know.
maybe, I don't know, but, like, I mean, I don't know any address. I know New York, and I know Fifth Avenue, but I don't know what 1040 Fifth Avenue is, but then she starts, "Well, I'm on the 4th floor, like, Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis and the Rothschilds, everyone had their own floor, 8,000 square feet," and Hillary's just like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
And
I'm
she
not
doesn't live there now.
right, she doesn't live there now. Gail doesn't live there now. And she's like, "I'm not from New York. I'm from Boston." And she's like, "Well, it's famous real estate." Gail is like, "It's famous real estate." Again, I'm like, "Okay, Gail, a little bit too much.
Well,
A little bit
she
too much."
probably figures like, well, you think you're like a real estate guru, but
Right.
in Palm Beach, she is.
Right. Right. And then she starts talking about the Rolodex. Oh my gosh. This Rolodex. Yeah, I never did either on Apple TV. I never
I
watched
want
it either.
to now. But
Yeah, I do
Gina
too.
said that in the first season, the Rolodex is like a thing that they reference, and it does hold all the secrets. I still don't know if I believe that this is true and there is such a thing, but I mean, maybe the Rolodex, maybe it's just like, what do you call it? Like a clue to something,
Yeah, I mean,
like not a real physical Rolodex. It's just a reference. Like, oh, I got the Rolodex, meaning I know shit on people.
I know, but I think she even said I think it even came up that, "Oh, no, there's a real Rolodex," because then Rosalind says to Hillary, "Oh, you're in the Rolodex. It says that you're an incredible tennis player."
That is funny. I forgot
Which
about that. She
I thought
did
that was
say that.
hysterical. She's like, "I
That is
just made that up."
so funny. That's great. That's great.
So that's when Gail asks Hillary, like, "Have you ever chaired anything, any charity things?" And she's like, "No, I run 3 businesses. Like, I just, I'll donate to charity functions or I'll attend them. I'll just, go give money." She's like, "I don't have time." And Gail's like, "Well, if you need an invite, just let me know." I'm like, I don't think she needs an invite, but okay.
Well, maybe she does though. If she's not part of these clubs.
Yeah. Well, this is where I thought it got this is where, again, where I started, I was like, "This is just so funny." So then Hillary says, well, why don't you get Elon to donate a trip to the moon? And she's like, oh, you know Elon? And Hillary's like, no, it was just an idea. It's not like I know him. Gail said, well, I saw him on Friday night. And Hillary's like, well, I walk within 2 feet of him 10 times a month. And I'm like, wait, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
What
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 are
are we
we
doing here?
doing?
What are we doing here?
He's like a
And
robot. Like,
and
ladies, is this really what you wanna flex about?
I know, like this is the hill we're dying on?
Right.
Right? But then it even gets weirder, and then she's like, "Well, I walk within 2 feet of him 10 times a month. I mean, I know Donald, but I would never ask him," she says, "to ask Elon to give a trip." And Gail's like, "Oh, how long have you known Donald?" And she's like, 30 years." Said, "Oh, well, I bid against Donald for Mar-a-Lago." I was like, "Oh my god. Wait,
Did she
what?"
say that?
Yes, yes. Oh, yes, she did.
I heard the
Yes.
horse story with MC Hammer. I didn't hear her
No.
say she bid against him for Mar-a-Lago.
She bid against him for Mar-a-Lago. Hillary said, "Well,
Interesting.
he didn't pay much for it." That's what Hillary said. And she said, "I was given pre-membership in the beginning. Ivana was one of my best friends." And then Tasha said, "I don't know if what she says is true, but I do know she almost got escorted out by the Secret Service because she saw Donald Trump walking by and said, 'Do you know who I am? Do you know
Yeah,
who I am?' And the Secret Service told her to stay in your seat," which I would imagine they would do.
absolutely.
And he didn't remember her. So I don't know. I mean, who knows if any of this is true? Who knows if
I
any of it's
know.
true,
I
right?
know.
But Hillary does say that she thinks that Rosalind is delusional about her position. What I think is interesting is that I don't think Rosalind is delusional. I don't think Rosalind gives her position any thought.
I
I
think that
think
was more of a Gail thing, quite honestly.
I think it's a Gail thing, and I think it is a Hillary thing. Hillary gives her position a thought because she's been there for 21 seasons now,
Right. Right.
and
I
Rosalind has
think Gail
not.
was trying to, make something out of the whole passing the baton and all that. I
Yeah,
don't think Rosalind is necessarily interested in that. Maybe Gail saw, I mean, obviously Rosalind and Gail had some kind of friendship, relationship, something before the show started. That's very clear. And maybe Gail got hip to the fact that Hillary was not inviting to Rosalind. And Gail was like, we'll get her. We'll get her,
yeah,
you know.
that could be. That could be.
Not like a threat, but like, we'll
Right.
get under her skin. We'll figure this out.
Yeah. So the next thing that happens is Maria invites the ladies to her record, not her record, her single launch party. And she lets them know that the dress code is over the top fabulous. Okay. I love that. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This is where the boat in Maria and Hillary happens. Then Maria asks Hillary to sit down, and Maria thanked her for inviting her to her house. And she says to her, "I was in the middle of a very emotional moment, and you decided to scold me for my language. I thought that that was hurtful." And Hillary responds to her that this is not an appropriate place to have this conversation.
Which is ridiculous.
Right. I mean, it was a fine place to have the conversation.
Totally fine.
Maria said, "I think that real friends talk about real things." Hillary said, if this is how you're going to talk, then I don't know if you can, be with me, be around me." Maria said, "You're you're tough. You're a tough one sometimes. You're an asshole. Sometimes you're a queen." I was like, "I like it. I like it. I like
I
how
do
she's just going in.
too.
I like how she's
Yes.
just going in. But I will give you respect when respect is due. But I want the same." And honestly, I think her going in so tough like that, I think Hillary was like,
Rattled.
I think so, because she said, "All right, I'm sorry that you feel that way." The fact that she even said, "I'm sorry," not that I'm sorry what I did, but the fact that she even said, "I'm sorry that you feel that way," I think, you know, says a lot that Maria did what she needed to do, like to Maria said, "Thank you." She said, "I'm gonna motorboat you." And Hillary's like, "Okay, okay." And she's like, "I think you're gonna like it." And she's like, "I didn't even know what that meant." And she was like, "How could she not know what that means?" I mean,
She knew
come
what it
on.
meant. Get the stick out of your ass, Hillary. You knew what that
Right,
meant.
right. I know.
Ridiculous.
I know.
And that was so funny that she did that.
It was hysterical. It was totally hysterical.
Mhm.
All right, that's 3. I don't think we're gonna do 4 now. That's good enough for today.
I think so, just because we covered the podcast too, and
Yeah.
we're almost at 50 minutes, so but that was episode 3, right?
Yes.
So we have
Yes.
5 more episodes to go.
Yes. 5 more to go.
Alright.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm enjoying this show, and I hope we get a second season.
Me too. I
I
really
do.
do, 'cause I really wanna see where the dynamic is with the girls, being that Rosalind is obviously very close with Romina and Maria now. I guess Hillary has Taja, but let's see how this plays out.
And I would think, like, this is when the season is, right? I would think January is the season, so if they're gonna be filming, now would be the time they're filming.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because this is when the snowbirds go back, right after Christmas.
Right, I'm thinking January, February, March probably is when they're filming,
Yeah.
so it'll be curious to see what's happening.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please subscribe and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.